Now. What happened?
Captain, please step aside.
Sir, this is my brother. What's going on?
PFC Macklin has been charged with treason.
So there's got to be some mistake.
I'm sorry.
I think the long flight home allowed clots to form in your leg. Take this pill. If you feel any numbness in your leg after a few minutes, it means we're right. You should get comfortable, because you're gonna be here for a while.
While we wait, can you tell me why?
It was the right thing to do.
There are reports that insurgents are using your video to recruit new members.
Making the voting public aware of what's really happening on the ground will help bring our troops home faster. My brother's grunt means he disagrees.
I think you're being naive. And I know you took an oath. If you want to influence policy, run for office.
Dad raised us to believe that exposing the truth is honorable. Hayes likes to follow the rules.
Yeah, because that's what Dad taught us was honorable. You were 10 when he died. You couldn't possibly have any
If
idea.
Dad always believed in blindly following the rules, how do you explain Tora Bora? My dad was commanding a special forces unit. He lost communication with his men. They were assumed dead. He was ordered to abandon them and focus on the primary mission. He disobeyed that order, went and found his men still alive and fighting. He saved their lives.
Did he die in service? If it was something genetic, it could help us.
No, it won't help. It was a one-car accident.
Lateral view looks good. If you have such a negative opinion of the Army, why did you enlist?
I needed to find out what really happened to my dad. There were 2 redacted pages in his service record. Going into intelligence was the quickest way to up my security clearance.
Then why would you leak that video?
Part of my job was to grab a cup of tea with the locals. And the FaceTime is supposed to make them more likely to trust us with sensitive information. But they became my friends. If there was another attack, civilian casualties, and I had done nothing...
Your spleen, it's enlarged. We should do a biopsy and look for any...
He's got urinary bleeding.
Not just urinary.
Call the blood bank.
What's happening to him?
Spleen must be sequestering platelets.
He's bleeding too fast to wait for a platelet infusion.
We need to squeeze his spleen to release the ones he's got. Tell the OR we're on our way.
Lymphoma.
Cancer causes seizures. We would have seen cerebral masses on his head CT.
Yes!
Cow, pitch again, now!
The nodules in his spleen were granulomas. He's got sarcoidosis!
Don't tell him he's wrong.
Sorry, House. Sarcoid does explain the seizures.
And the bruises.
Say bye-bye, House! Yes! Yes!
Sarcoidosis it is. Treat with steroids. Then come right back here, because I'm not going to rest until I've made orphans of all your virtual children.
No. I won't take it.
Without this injection, you could have a fatal arrhythmia.
Tell Major Mathewson that I'm not taking any more treatment until they give me a live television interview.
You can't really think they'll agree to that.
People need to know the tape's not the reason for that attack. They need to know why I did this.
The people who think you're a traitor will still think you're a traitor, and the people who think you're a hero will still think you're a hero.
The truth makes a difference.
If Dad were here, he'd be begging for you not to do this.
If Dad were here, he'd be proud of me. Who are you?
Well, considering the only people allowed in this room are your doctors and your family, I'm your long-lost cousin, Ralph. So glad to finally meet you.
Are you going to check on me?
Just give me at least 2 hours until we can tell if the heparin's working.
Then what are you doing here?
You know, my father taught me that it's dishonorable to interrupt someone when they're reading.
Honor's not a punchline. Get out of my room.
So was it worth it? Best case, you spend the rest of your life in Leavenworth. Worst case, you spend the rest of your life here.
Justice for 34 deaths outweighs anything the Army can do to me.
They got justice? Do they know that? What if only 10 people had died? 4?
Even one civilian death.
What if they just maimed a few guys? Would that have been worth it?
My job was to log that tape. Get all the details in the official record. After the 10th time of watching it, I stopped trying to convince myself that the shovel could have been mistaken for a gun, because all I could see were the victims' faces. All I was doing was trying to read that kid's lips to make out his last words. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Think I like the cue ball look? My hair turned gray in 3 days. My body was telling me I had to do whatever I could to make sure that something like this never happened again.
Your hair turned gray in 3 days.
If he doesn't want to stay alive...
Is it too late to become his conservator? I know what I said before. Right now, I don't care.
Of course not. We'll get the paperwork drawn up.
I was right. Wasn't I? How did he die? What did they cover up?
They didn't cover up anything. I did. Dad died in that car accident because he was drunk. Killed a pedestrian, too.
What are you...
He drank, Brand, a lot. You were too young to see it. I had some of Dad's buddies take care of his files. It was the only time I ever broke the rules. I'm sorry.
Can I begin treatment?
No hair usually means no lice. What we didn't account for was that it wasn't your hair. Tea was not the only thing that your Afghani neighbors shared with you. Sure, they were generous enough to let you sit on their furniture, which was infested with rat lice. You have typhus. How's the vasculitis? It explains all your other symptoms. But here's where it gets interesting. One of those symptoms, a lawyer might argue, was leaking the tape. There's psychiatric issues associated with typhus. Change your mind, plead not guilty. You've got a case.
I'd be undermining everything I've been trying to do.
You did what you thought you had to do. Going to jail proves nothing.
It proves I still have my honor.
You're not doing this for honor. You're doing this to please your father. And the pathetic thing is the man you're trying to please never existed.